What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve.
I'm Lindsay.
Today we're going to be reading to British versus American bathrooms. This is a topic that I've actually been wanting to explore for quite some time now. I have no idea what the differences are between a British and American bathroom. Do you?
Me either.
Except,
honestly, I didn't even think there would be that many differences.
I believe there's probably quite a few differences, considering that the water taps are already different in a lot of older UK homes. You remember we checked out the video about the homes in the Cornwall area, and you see that toilet, and the way it was had this long pipe, and I'm sure that's probably an older thing. I'm guessing that's probably not in most UK homes, but still, that's something I've never seen here in the US. I don't know if that exists here, but also I believe that I've heard in the UK, in public bathroom stalls, they may have less of a gap than we do.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't know for sure. But here in the US, we have this ridiculous gap that doesn't make sense in public bathroom stalls. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But
I can see how if you didn't grow up with that, it would be very jarring.
Yes.
To come here and...
Hey.
Because, like, almost everywhere else, like, I feel like everywhere else we've traveled outside the U.S., it was a very private stall. Like,
that's true.
Like, almost floor to ceiling.
When we were in Asia, yes. And that's actually surprising. It's in a good way.
Yeah.
But here it's like, peekaboo, I see you. Anyways, guys, before we get started, shout out to Dara from Magenta Otter Travels for making this video. If you're interested in checking out other videos of hers, the link will be in the description. But I guess we'll just go ahead and jump in and check out British versus American bathrooms.
I'm formatting today's comments into 3 sections, reminiscent of a certain Clint Eastwood movie. I'm calling it the good, the bad, and the different. As I compare British to American bathrooms, I will group those comments into talking about what I think is better in Britain.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
What I think is worse in Britain, and what I think is just different, not better or worse. Feel free to share with me your opinions down in the comments. And as always, tell me what I've just totally got wrong in your opinion. The first way I'll point out in which British bathrooms are...
Okay, so we're going to see the good, the bad, and the difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to see the good first, then the bad, and then the just completely different. Okay.
Better than American bathrooms is really a big deal. It's something that a lot of YouTubers have talked about because it's kind of crazy.
When you're in a public toilet in Britain, the bathroom stalls have some sense of privacy.
Oh,
the stalls are either...
Oh, wow. Okay.
That is like luxury.
Okay, this is even better than the ones we saw in Asia. Like the ones you saw in Asia usually still had the like above gap or whatever. It wasn't floor to ceiling walls. That's like your own.
It's very rare to see this in the U.S.
That's not a bathroom stall. That's your own bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have a bath. I guess your own restroom.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool,
or
man.
A toilet.
So how often would you see this in a public restroom?
I don't know. That seems like abnormal.
That's fancy. Yeah. That's really nice.
Enclosed rooms, or at least their stalls where the doors fully shut and fully block out a view of the people inside the stall.
Wow.
They also tend to go more low to the ground and taller.
Well, yeah, because here in the U.S., you basically have like
your whole leg.
See someone's knees, basically.
It really, like when you stop to think about it, it really is freaking weird and creepy.
No,
like
it's beyond
whoever
weird.
decided that.
Like how much money are you trying to save to not put this much more door on the bottom?
Also, like in these types of bathrooms, you wouldn't have to worry about someone doing the under the stall like camera thing. Like you've seen those, right? Where people like go into a woman's bathroom and like.
I mean, I can imagine that probably does happen, and so I've never noticed that.
It's much easier in the U.S.
Yeah, that would be much easier. I mean, basically, you can just peekaboo.
But in the U.S., we have these ridiculous doors
right there.
very frequently that have massive gaps where you shut and lock them, which means that when you're walking through the restroom, you do not feel like you have any privacy.
You could film a video
Honestly,
through that.
These bathroom door gaps are just appalling.
All right.
It's honestly, you gotta have a big amount of trust in
Yes.
in everyone else, not to like just sit and stare.
Right, yes.
But it's honestly never really been a thing.
I
mean, except like every once in a while, like there's a few times in my life where you've accidentally like been walking by and looked over and made eye contact. And it's very awkward, but it's just growing up in the US.
I've literally never made eye contact with someone in a bathroom stall that I know of. Well, I must say that I completely agree. That is a good one in the UK. It makes no sense. And I'm curious, guys, if you have been to the US and experienced the difference there, how did that make you feel the first time you experienced that? Because obviously coming from somewhere that doesn't have those big gaps to that is probably kind of jarring.
Yeah.
The second thing that's better about British bathrooms when compared to the US is the 2-button flushing system. Now, this is not unique to the UK.
It's a nice bathroom.
All over Europe and probably other parts of the world have this 2-button system. And there are even some newer toilets in the US that have it as well. But it's definitely not common in household toilets in the US that you would have the 2-button system. 2 buttons means there's 2 flushes, a little flush with a little bit of water and a bigger flush with more water.
I have seen that now.
Wait, she just said one basically has less water than the other.
For
okay.
1 and 2.
I can imagine why that might make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great way to conserve water, and for some reason, not something that's widely been adopted in the US so far. Speaking of flushing, I have noticed that British toilets in general just do a better job of flushing. In the US, a lot of our toilets just aren't very good, which means they get clogged a lot, which means they often need to have plungers used on them. So in an American bathroom, you are more likely to see a plunger located near the toilet.
I've noticed that in public restrooms, the flushing power on a toilet is much greater.
Well, it's more of like a commercial.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe in the UK, maybe they have, even in homes, more of a commercial type of toilet.
At least in newer homes.
Right, compared to what we have here. Because here in the US, a lot of homes, especially the older ones that haven't really replaced the toilet or the working parts of the toilet in a long time, maybe.
How many times can we say the word toilet?
That's true. How many times can we say that? But maybe, it's just got a weaker flush because of that. I don't know.
Than what you see
Plungers
in Britain,
are so nasty.
which is toilet brushes. Pretty much every bathroom you go in Britain has a toilet brush.
Even
next
in
to
the public restrooms.
More later about why that's the case. But it is convenient to have a toilet brush located next to every toilet to keep.
Okay, hold on. This looks very wide to me, or maybe it's just the angle.
It does. It looks very open.
It looks like huge. Like, I don't know if I'm just seeing that wrong.
I hate looking at toilets, by the way. Like, ugh.
That is interesting, though. Like,
would you really want to share a toilet brush with someone else, though? Like, here, let me just grab this that somebody else just used the bathroom and touched all over. Ew.
Keep it looking cleaner. Another thing I like about British bathrooms is
Automatic
that
fans.
often there are automatic fans attached with the light switches so that when you turn the light on, the fan automatically always goes on with it. And in a country where homes have issues with damp and mold, like our flat, for example, it's really good to have that automatic fan that always turns on to keep moisture from accumulating and mold happening in the bathrooms.
Yes.
Towel rails are another thing I like about British bathrooms and pretty much never see in American ones.
Are those warmers?
When getting out of the shower on a cold day, there's nothing better than grabbing your towel off a nice heated towel rail.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Yes, absolutely.
And it also helps warm the room and dry your clothes as well. Multi-purpose. Another thing I have to say I like about some of the public restrooms I've been in Britain is they can have some pretty funny signs. Let me show you some examples. First, I have to start with this public toilet from Scotland. It was set in a lovely
area wow, dude.
So
with
pretty.
pastures full of sheep and some people camping by the lake and quite a few motorcycle enthusiasts. We were glad to find a free toilet to use before our long drive back to Gloucestershire. Little did I know there would be so much reading involved in a visit to this restroom. First, there was a sign on the entrance telling you how grateful you should be to use these toilets.
They are cleaned 3 times daily and provided with toilet paper, soap, sanitizer, and paper towel. Bins are provided for sanitary products and baby wipes. Please have respect for the free facilities. Doors need to be kept closed to avoid animals nesting inside.
Oh my goodness. By the way, remember when we were in, I think it was Bali, like a lot of the public restrooms literally had no toilet paper. You would have to take your own, or else you didn't have any. But they do have the sprayer. They have
the what do you call it? The bidet.
Well, it's not really a.
Well, it's
a manual.
Yeah, a manual one. It's like a hose.
Dish sprayer.
Yeah, a dish sprayer. Yeah, and just a hole in the floor. No,
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. That's very interesting.
To leave the door shut to prevent animals nesting inside. Then there was a typical no smoking sign. But after that, it goes a bit over the top. There is a lengthy and emphatic sign about hovering and flushing with your feet. And then an even more emphatic and threatening sign explaining about how and what to flush. And then the same ideas are communicated in a carefully worded axiom and some pictures.
What?
Then, as we go to wash our hands, we are told how to do that as well. And finally, we have all the key points reiterated again in this lengthy verse.
The chance to piddle in privacy with bog rolls to wipe your bits, soap, sanitizer, and paper towels to deal with your dirty mitts. These facilities may be really old, but we do our best to keep them clean. 3 times daily when open and free, so do your bit in between. Have a little respect for these toilets. There's nowhere else to pee for miles. Help leave your relieving experience clean and with plenty of smiles. So don't put wipes down the loo or hover over the seat. Don't leave the taps running or flush using your feet. Have a little common sense. Don't leave the cleaner in bad fettle, because if she quits her job and locks the doors, you'll be peeing over a nettle.
They're very passionate about this. I don't know if it's because
it does seem like
they've had such bad experiences and so they've had to say these things. But if not...
Yeah, this place is very passionate about their toilets. All right. That's pretty cool.
Verse. I shan't read the whole poem. You can pause the video if you'd like to do that. But I will point out that in true Scottish form, you are urged to not leave the cleaning person in bad fettle, or you will be peeing over a nettle. This reminds me of the poem that the cleaning team from Hales Church posted near that door. Those were some of my favorite warning signs. Only in Britain, in the sign that tells you what to not
put tea bags,
would they list tea bags. And first, even.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the ways in which I think British and American bathrooms are just different.
All right. First, I think that I totally agree with, I think, every point there. But British bathrooms seem to be thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch the video I did early in January of 2020, I showed our flat in England and lots of things about the flat that I think are examples of ways British and American homes are different. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it in the description below, so please check it out. But right now, I'm just gonna focus on the bathroom things that I think are different.
The first thing that's different, of course, is what we call this room. Now, in a house, it's generally the same. Bathroom is a bathroom.
Because it's got a bath.
But for British people, it's only a bathroom if it has a bath, which is rather logical.
So what would you guys call a half bath? Because like we actually have something.
A toilet.
Yeah, I guess that's true. A toilet closet, maybe?
Or loo. Maybe.
Yeah, loo. I've heard loo.
And I think we both say ladies or gents,
room.
But otherwise, it all seems to be different.
Do we say
in
gents?
In a house, a room with a toilet and sink only would be called a powder room.
Powder
or
room.
a half bath in the U.S.
Okay.
And in Britain, it would be called a cloak room.
Cloak room.
Which is a very funny and confusing term for Americans. And I think there's also other names that Britons use for powder rooms. Remind me what the other ones are. In general, Americans say restroom, washroom. More slang terms would be potty, or rude terms would be John or head. In Britain, people say toilet most of the time, which is just not what we say in the U.S.
No, not
also,
really.
You will find more
Water
archaic
closet.
references to water closet, WC, conveniences, public conveniences, and more colloquially, loo, bog, and probably several more slang words I don't know yet. British bathrooms don't have power outlets for things like hair dryers in the bathroom because the electricity is at double the voltage and it's just dangerous. Whereas in the U.S., it's very common to have a hairdryer in a bathroom.
Oh, wow. So if you guys have an electric toothbrush, you can't charge it in the bathroom. You have to take it out to another room, I guess.
What do you guys do? How do you deal with that?
Or if you
have a separate place you dry your hair, or
true hair dryers and like women getting ready with their curling irons and things like that. That's true. Where do you guys usually do that? Because I mean, while some things like charging an electric toothbrush, like I was saying, have to, they can be done anywhere. Technically, you got to be in front of a mirror for certain things as a woman specifically.
Maybe there's like a separate, I've seen in some newer houses, like you have a separate vanity space, like outside the restroom.
That's interesting. Yeah, let us know in the comments, guys. What do you generally do for those power needs in the bathroom?
Another thing that's just different is light switches. In the UK, you're going to find your light switch on the outside of the room. Or a pull cord inside the room.
So you could be in there and someone would just turn your lights off.
That's true. But I was thinking for Sophia, she doesn't like to go into a bathroom if it's dark.
For her, absolutely.
So she'd love it.
That's true.
Outside.
But I'm just sitting there thinking, you're taking a shower. Someone could easily just turn the light on. That would be annoying.
Yeah.
I'm sure that happens, but I've never seen that here, I don't think.
About that later. Whereas in the U.S., pretty much all the time, the light switch is going to be on the wall as you enter the bathroom. I don't think one way is better than the other. It's just different. Now for a little British innovation I encountered that I have not seen in the U.S. We were visiting a garden, and I found this little restroom that had the sink located on top of the toilet tank. It was the strangest thing. But honestly, kind of innovative.
That is innovative. That's genius. You got such a small little, I would actually call this a water closet from what like they were saying. And it's so small, but you're able to have a sink in it without taking up extra space.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And it's just going back into the tank itself to be used in the toilet, I guess. That's cool.
Or innovative, if you prefer. And admittedly, rather space-saving. Another thing that you see more often in Britain than in the U.S. are vintage loos. You can certainly find an occasional old-fashioned toilet in the U.S., but they are definitely more common in Britain.
Dude, that is insane.
Why is it so high up?
Dude, she just kept on going. I'm like, wait, what? Are we about to see the tank up here? That's insane. Wow. Did they have to do this so they had room for the pool chain itself? So it must be the very vintage toilets started off as the tank was very separate, and then it gradually got shorter, I guess.
That's interesting. I wonder why.
Yeah. If anyone knows why that would be, let us know in the comments, because I've never seen that.
A lot of space.
Yeah, it does. And it seems like it'd be very annoying to work on if you had to go and mess with inside the tank there. Up. Yeah.
I'm showing one that we saw in Scotland, which was actually a new renovation made to look like a vintage toilet. And then another one that we saw in Wales that actually was just a very old toilet. And lastly, from Northumberland, this was Chillingham Castle, which if you watch that video, and by the way, you really should, because that castle video from Northumberland was amazing. I'll link in the description. You may recall from that video that Chillingham has a Victorian toilet that was quite curious indeed.
Wait,
now, for American innovations, I haven't seen anything like this in Britain, but in the Dallas airport, they have a couple cool things. One is, before you even enter the restroom, You can tell how many stalls are available inside, and if they're all occupied, where to get to the nearest restroom. Once you're inside the restroom, there are lights on the ceiling to tell you which stalls are vacant or occupied at a glance.
I've never seen that.
Isn't that clever? Certainly better than peeking through all those door gaps.
Now it's time to talk about the bad, the ways in which I think British bathrooms are worse than American bathrooms.
So far, I'm under impression.
Seems superior.
Yeah, so far I will say British bathrooms seem superior in a lot of ways. Except one thing, I didn't like the idea of the light switch on the outside. I understand what Lindsay was saying in regards to Sophia. That would be probably a lot of younger kids, honestly, that don't like going in dark rooms. They would find that, obviously to be a good thing. But
you're right. Like if you're in there and someone wants to be mean, they could just
turn it off. And I do like having a power outlet in the the bathroom. Now I understand that generally speaking in the UK, their power outlets are much more powerful than ours. So it does make sense that you would want to have theirs near water less than ours near water, if that makes sense. So, but beyond that, it seems like I would think that your bathrooms so far seem to be superior. Absolutely.
One thing I'm not a fan of about British bathrooms, including some bathrooms I've seen in new homes, is impossibly small sinks.
That is insanely small.
The size of lavatory sinks on a train or a plane. It's very difficult to use them and wash your hands without getting water everywhere. Speaking of getting water everywhere, shower doors or walls is one thing that I've been obsessing about in my visits to Britain for the past 30 years.
Having shower curtains is very typical in the U.S., but it's not something I have seen many times in the U.K.
Really?
You can tell that I'm in a U.K. bathroom because of the towel rail on the wall here. This is the hotel we stayed at in Wales, the Marriott St. Pierre in Chepstow. And they have a shower curtain, just like we'd see in the States. If you are British, do you have a shower curtain in your bathroom? Have you seen shower curtains many times? Is this one of the many things I've been wrong about on YouTube? Please let me know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, guys. Is that abnormal to have shower curtains in the UK, or is that just something she hasn't experienced that much? We do have shower doors here, sometimes, but it's pretty rare, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like you find that more likely to be in older homes.
Or in a stall type shower.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of older homes.
From the 70s, it seems like had a lot of shower stalls.
Yeah, I didn't like it because it's more cleaning.
Yeah, it's definitely more cleaning. Here, if you've got a shower curtain, you can take it out, throw it in the wash machine, and just, that easy way to clean it, so.
These little halvesy doors just do not work for me. I remember the first time I took a shower in a bathtub that had a partition like this.
Oh.
I got water everywhere. I just washed my hair the way I normally do.
I feel like that would make a mess.
I'm a relatively tall person, and I've got long hair that takes a lot of effort to wash. And I had nearly flooded the bathroom by the time I finished with that shower. Ever since then, I've tried all the techniques of pointing the shower head toward the wall, standing in the corner, trying not to move my arms very much.
Yeah, I can see how that would...
It's just ridiculous. Why can't we have a full shower door or a shower curtain or something that keeps the in if you're doing the shower above the tub?
I've never seen that before.
Situation of showering.
Also, I feel like that little partition or whatever would make it really cold.
Yeah, that's true.
The shower curtain keeps you all toasty.
The door or the shower curtain keeps you toasty. Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Speaking about showers over tubs, the other weird shower thing is the number of bathrooms in Britain that just have a handheld shower with the tub, and it's not a stand-up shower, and there are no stand-up showers in the room. This is not something you would really see in the States. So tell me, Britons, do a lot of people shower sitting down in the tub?
I will say, by the way, I think this tub is absolutely beautiful.
I love clawfoot tubs.
That's a beautiful tub. Yeah, I don't know if I've actually seen that before. I'm not sure. But you know, I'm okay with a bathroom that has just a tub, but I prefer to take showers, so I would want a shower. You know, showers are just more convenient, and I'm not really a bath person. I don't really like taking baths. Women a lot of times do like taking baths.
But for me, it's not so much like on a day I would want to really like scrub and wash my hair and all that. It's more just to relax.
Yes, right. That looks like a good relaxing tub, though.
Tub. This is just a relatively foreign idea to us Americans. Speaking of things that are odd to Americans, electric showers. This is a very odd concept to us Americans. The first time I saw this when visiting Ian's family 30 years ago, I remember saying to him, "What is that thing on the wall in the shower?" Now, the idea of having hot water quickly is nice. That part is better than a lot of American showers. And the idea of controlling the temperature very easily is also nice. But the fact that the water pressure on these units is absolutely abysmal, I've got a problem with. They often just kind of spit water on you. And so I find it really hard to shampoo my hair and rinse it properly. Please tell me your thoughts on electric showers.
Wow. An electric shower, never heard of it.
No, I've never heard of that either. She says it gets hotter faster.
Which makes sense. It's right there at the source.
Right. And so I guess it's like just heating it up right then and there. But I don't really have much of an issue. Like, it takes literally 5 seconds to heat up here.
Before you even get in.
Yeah, before you even get in, it's already hot. No problem. So I don't know.
I'm like really big on water pressure.
Me too. Yeah, that's a big deal.
If it's low, can't do it.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And I can only imagine, as someone who shaves my head and don't really have hair, I can imagine as a woman that has a ton of hair, trying to get all the soap and stuff out real quick, you know, it would be very annoying with lower water pressure. So the water pressure is probably one of the most important aspects of a pleasant showering experience, I'm guessing. So even for me, you know, with the soap and whatnot, it's a very important aspect of it. So
I think so.
Yeah.
Another thing that I referenced earlier is pull cords for light switches. I know this is not as common these days, but there are still lots of older British homes that have a pull cord string to turn the light on in the bathroom. According to an electrician who worked on our flat in England, I understand that these are actually not necessary anymore, but I still see them all the time in people's homes.
Just get used to it, probably.
And we have one in our own hall bath in Cheltenham. I don't like them because the string gets dirty, the string breaks, and sometimes they're hard for shorter people to reach. Another thing that seems like a disadvantage to me is toilet tanks being inside the walls. As I referenced earlier, American toilets often have flushing problems. If it's not a clog that has to be plunged, it's frequently a problem with flushing apparatus inside the toilet tank. It's pretty easy to remove the lid on the top of the tank and adjust the levers inside. But on a British toilet where the tank is buried inside the wall, I have no idea what you do. I'm just dreading the day I have to find out in our flat.
Hold on.
I like the look,
but
it doesn't seem very practical.
I have no idea, but perhaps this piece comes off. It looks like you'd have to break the caulking. I think that's caulking probably right there.
It just doesn't seem like a very good design, like practical wise.
It doesn't
happen.
Yeah, it doesn't on the surface, but if it's as easy as just breaking this caulking, while that would be annoying because then you would have to go through
and recaulk.
Yeah, you had to go through recaulk it. But if you notice this right here,
it almost doesn't look sealed.
Right, it looks like it's been unsealed before and they recaulked this part. I have no idea, guys, if that's what happens. Obviously, you have to have access to the inner workings of a toilet. If you don't, then it's going to be a huge deal if it breaks.
Yeah.
So, I can't imagine there's not relatively easy access to it somehow. So the only thing I can see here is you would have to take this off, break the caulking. But otherwise, I have no idea. I've never seen anything like that before. Have you?
No, but I like the look of it.
I do like the look of this. Like
cleaner looking.
Right. Is the only issue is the hassle of what happens if something goes wrong. Let us know in the comments, guys. Is that what we're looking at? And this will come off by basically breaking the seal of the caulking.
I would be worried about mold though in that case because at least here in the U.S., toilet tanks a lot of times will get condensation on
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
because of the cold and heat difference. So if it's doing that in there in a sealed space.
And finally, I'm talking about the thing that most Americans complain about in reference to British bathrooms. I have to admit, I hate separate taps. And before I get 97 irate comments telling me to stop being an American idiot and just put the plug in.
Somebody said that. Well, a lot of people said that, actually. Just put the plug in. And I'm thinking, yeah, you could do that, but sinks are disgusting, especially if it's a public restroom.
Yeah, especially
all
if
the germs.
I don't know if they still do the 2 taps in a public restroom, but considering there's probably some older public restrooms, they probably do. And I'm sitting there thinking, everybody's washed their hands in this. And if you're at home, we brush our teeth in the sink. And so, like, unless you're washing the sink with soap every time, when you fill that up, it seems like your hands are going to get dirty. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those things, if you get used to it, you just do it the way it is, and you probably clean the sink a little more often and things like that. But I am curious, if you grew up with that or if you still have that experience, let us know. Is it basically you just clean the sink more often?
Probably.
Mix the hot and cold water in the basin. Let me just say, no, I'm not doing it. In some nasty public restroom, I am not mixing up a bunch of soapy water in a dirty sink to wash my hands. I'd rather freeze my hands off in the icy water or scald my skin in the boiling water. And don't get me started on washing my face. When I have soap suds all over my eyes that are tightly shut, I am not fiddling with soapy water in a sink basin. I would like to have clear water to thoroughly rinse my face. So I just think the separate tap thing is an issue.
So when you have 2 taps like this and you're washing your hands, what you have to do, it's nice when the 2 taps are kind of close together like this, because then you can do the shuffle back and forth. Ice cold water.
Honestly, it seems like it wastes more water too.
And if you do it fast enough, you're kind of mixed together.
I wonder how hot that water is.
Thanks for watching this silly video.
The really hot
Please
water.
give it a thumbs up.
All right, guys. This was amazing. This is probably the best video about the difference between British and American bathrooms that I can imagine being put together, honestly.
Well, she said she's been working on it for 2 years.
Yeah, so. That's amazing. Shout out to Dara.
Yes.
This answered pretty much every question I could imagine having about a bathroom in the UK.
Have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I am shocked at how different the bathrooms can be.
I think the most surprising things for me was the fact that bathrooms don't have shower curtains.
Yes.
That surprises me. And not even really much of a door in most cases.
Well, at least, maybe it's not most cases. We don't know.
In the examples she showed.
Right.
It didn't seem like a very common thing.
Right. And I'm surprised about the 2 flushers.
Oh, yeah, that too.
I think that if I had my choice, most things, based off what we learned here, I would say that you guys in the UK have better overall bathrooms. Now, I think in some older situations, there are certain things that I wouldn't like as much, you know, like the dual faucets and things. And I think it's very interesting how some of the bathrooms, the older ones, might have the toilet tanks so high up and things like that. But that's not really something that bothers me. It's more of just a difference. Be guys, I definitely appreciate so many things about your bathrooms. The gap difference, the fact that you don't have to be, you know, watching someone stare at you from outside, or catching eyes with someone, like Lindsay would say, from the outside. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover anything and everything from the UK and Ireland. Until next time, guys, peace.